if you would like to, you can follow along. I'm recording this for those of you that care about this sort of stuff. So I've logged in. Does everybody know how to log into the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite?
Yes,
All right.
even I do. And I'm probably the least technical.
All right. If you don't, send Lily an email saying, how do I log in? Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. The hardest part sometimes is logging in. Now, what I've found is that all of these integrated programs like Michael Lewis and eEdge have limitations, right? And one of the reasons that I like PowerPoint and Publisher is that there aren't any limitations, right? There's some, but not the same. So what I would like to do for something fun, right? So let's say we are logged in. There's business cards, door hangers, flyers, other stuff. What I'm going to do is just click on flyers to start with. And there are a variety of flyers here. One of them is called Market Updates. And I have issues, you find it hard to believe, I have issues with their template, but what I wanted to do is to just maybe do something in the template. So I'm logged into the MLS, and what I'm going to do is a search. Now, another agent was asking me earlier today about help for a farming piece. And so if you want help with the farming piece and you're watching this video, let's say, the first thing you need to do is to actually save your farm in the MLS, right? Which would mean, first of all, you have to have a farm. Second of all, you have to know where it is. And you need to save it in the MLS, which would mean that you would go to the map search. Some of you, if you've seen me do this, I'm sorry, I just wanted to do it just to make sure. You do a map search and it pulls up the map, and if you put in an address, and I'm going to put in a street that I've sold lots of homes on in 95123 called Crow.
Where are you in the map? I mean, where do you put the address in the map search?
In the top right corner.
I'll get there.
Next, there's a gear, a drop down, see where it says north, south. Right above it, there's a little box.
Okay, I'll get
Is
there.
everybody with me?
Thank you.
And there's Crow Lane and Crow Court. Crow Court is very small. I had 4 or 5 sales on Crow Lane and a couple on Crow Court. Why don't we pick Crow Lane? And what it's going to do is it's going to show you where Crow Lane is. So you see, we now have a map. And I don't really want all this stuff over here. Go away. I don't want that either. So now that you have a map, what you want to do is using generally the polygon tool. That's that one there. You click on it, and we're going to go down, and let's see, this one was Calero. This was my original farm, and we're just going to go here, and so that we've included the shape. Everybody with me so far? We got a shape.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to criteria and pick active through sold, single family, because that's all there is in this particular area, and change date. Now what we're doing now is looking at the number 0 minus 30, let's say, and it says nothing, 5 matches. We're really looking for something around 10, right? 10 matches. So if we do this, we could go back 60 days and it would show 8. By the way, one alternative to doing this is to expand the size of our map. Now, what I usually hear when I tell people, why don't you expand the size of your map, is they'll say, well, I'm not farming all of that. That may be true. However, the question really is that expanded map representative of comparable properties?
Right.
Now, if the answer to that question is yes, expand the map, right? Do you understand? Because they're not in that neighborhood. You understand what sometimes my real estate agents in farming, they end up like looking through the knot hole in a fence. Right, or there's actually, I used to have this metaphor about farming agents that built walls around their farm. Sometimes they keep other people out, sometimes they keep other people in. I don't really know why, but what we're really interested in is our properties that fit the properties that are in that farm. Now, I happen to know that that particular farm includes Pyramids, William Lyons, Garcias, and Sterling Parks. Those are the names of the builders that are in that farm. I also know where other parts of 95123 have Pyramid homes and where the William Lyons are. And would that be helpful for you to know who the builders were and sort of what the area is? So if we're not getting enough, do you understand if we go back 90 days, right, you understand something's got to give. If I go back 90 days, there's 9 matches in that farm. 10 is what I'm looking for, but that's 3 months worth of effort, right? So our choice is either going back further in time or making it a bigger geographical area, right? Does everybody understand? There's nothing wrong, by the way, in that I just picked an area that I knew. If I were to go back to the map search and I'm looking at this, I happen to know that, for example, the homes down here are the same. I happen to know that. I also happen to know, so that area, and by the way, these other homes on both sides are pretty much the same. So if I look at that and I go back to criteria, and I know I may be going fast, but the reason I'm recording it is so you can stop it. I go back to criteria and I'm looking at it, and we're only up to 13 matches. Right, so if I really want something for the last 30 days, that's 8. That's not too bad. But if I click on map again and I say, well, and I'm zooming in and out all over the place, I realize this, but I grab this and I move it over here, and I grab that, and I do this, and I go up here to do that, right? And by the way, it would be very useful to drive around and look at it, so that you know what the homes look like. I happen to know that when you cross Santa Teresa, it starts to look different. There's some pyramids over on this other corner, but I'm going to go back to criteria, and now I'm up to 18 matches for the last 30 days, right? By the way, that big jump would make me want to take a peek at the area where it just picked up. So, but does everybody see what I'm doing here? And if I decided that was too big, I could go over here. I think that's Cahalan down there. And I just want, it doesn't have to be perfect. What is, the New York Times used to say, all the news that's fit to print. And the other way of saying it is all the news that fits, right? And so we're just really looking for something that 12 matches, 30 days, that looks good to me, right? Is everybody understand? And I might make the sizes bigger or smaller. By the way, if it was very little activity, I might use most of a zip code, right? You understand? Since I think people would rather see recent activity in their area rather than old activity that's in their neighborhood, right? You understand? Those are our two. Something's got to give. Either we go back in time or we expand the area. Wasn't that fascinating? All right. So now we've got our 12 matches. And if you've never done this before, what you want to do, and one easy way of doing this, remember we were talking about the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. Remember that? So let's say you wanted to do this easy. Are you sure you want to create it? We don't really care about a back template right now. Supposing you want to do this easy, the easiest way, so what I've picked on, let me just make sure everybody sees what I'm doing. I went to Flyers in Michael Lewis. And by the way, this is way easier for me to do in Publisher or PowerPoint. But I went to Flyers in Market Lewis and I clicked on Market Updates, and they have one, right? One market update. And I actually have I don't know how far should I get into this. I have a workaround that makes it simpler, but I'm going to click on Edit the Template. And what they've done is they've given us what they think. I'm going to click on Continue. What they think the columns ought to be, which aren't necessarily what I would pick. But let me just show you what they are. The first one is status, which I would also pick. You see that? Status. Date, I may not pick that, right? Do you understand? Because it dates my flyer. Especially if I'm going back 90 days, right? If I'm doing the back in time rather than the outreach, I might I might not like to do date. Address is okay, square feet is okay, bed and bath together, not bad. Price is, you see, you're supposed to figure out if it says active and pending, it's list price. And if it says sold, it's sale price,
Sold price, yeah.
right? And anyhow, so what I was going to do is just demonstrate what it would look like if we were going to make changes to this. Okay, now the easiest thing to do, there's no easy thing to do. But the easy thing to do would be if we could click on date, and if you click on it, note I double clicked and this popped up, and I could make this address. So if I click on commit changes, what it's now done is it's made it an address, and I can move this little guy around and make it bigger, right? I guess they're doing all caps. If I double click, ADDRESS, and I could commit to changes. So if I change every one of these titles, then I have the same number of them. If I say, well, I don't want to do that, if I delete this, so I click on it and I click on delete and it's gone, I click on that and I click on delete, it's gone, and I take address and I scooch it over and I grab this and I scooch it over, and I'm lining it all up by eyesight, right? And then I could move square feet over. Does everybody see? This is a way to do it, and I could just, and I have to sort of line it up by eyeballing it, and the price, if I leave it alone, they would just have to figure out that if it's active, it's the list price. If it's pending, it's the list price. Otherwise, I could create, let's say I scooched it all over. Anyhow. Now, the value of this, does everybody see what we're doing, right? Now, let's say I wanted to add a column, like I want to make that sold price, so there's some zeros, and I want to make this list price. What I would do is I would, first of all, I have to do something. Let me see, what am I going to do? How about if I commit? I hit, you have to, I don't know if you've ever been told you have to commit first, right? So you have to commit. If I click on add text, it may not be visible, but what it's done is it's put this text here, and I could, and then if I double click, I could change the font, change the size, and do all that. All right. Now, to me, this seems sort of like a pain. I don't know how you guys are feeling about it, but it seems sort of a little bit painful. And but if you do it and you get the template the way you want to, and you can save it, you could make changes again. I don't know, do you guys like that graphic about values are up?
Yeah.
Right.
Picture, but
It's a weird picture. So if it's okay, and I told Rachna that I would help her with hers. That's what I said, but since you weren't here at the beginning, I did something else. Did you, Rachna, let me just ask you a question. Last week when I did that other flyer, the PowerPoint one, did you make a PowerPoint version of it for yourself? Okay. So let me just show you what I would rather do. And the beginning of this, and if you're having difficulty with this first part, I'll help you. But let me go back here. Where was I? Why was I there?
Are you going to show us, I mean, in my opinion, this was easy to use, but tedious.
Right.
So if there's a
Less
quicker
tedious
way, less tedious way
All right.
to do this, that would be wonderful, but I imagine I have to learn Microsoft Publisher
No, you
first.
don't. No, you
No?
don't.
Okay.
That piece I did last week was called timing the sale of your home, right? Now, what you're going to have to do to make this work really well is you're going to have to take my PowerPoint and replace the bottom with your contact information and your picture. Right? If you emailed me all of this stuff, I would do it once for you. And then you would keep it. But this becomes very easy if you replace the bottom part of this, okay? And so, Racha, if you're having trouble with this, if you email me your picture, your contact information, I'll do this for you, but we only need to do this one time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, Amber, by the way, gave me $20 to, just in case you were wondering, how do you get all of yours done in advance? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one. So what you would do is take the one I made last week and click File, Save As. And I'm just going to put this on my desktop for now. And I'm going to call this Market Update. And because I don't have Rachna's picture and all that information right now, I can't really change all that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new template for the market update from scratch. I'm going to save it in the same place I put the last one. And you can download it, but you're going to have to take out Amber's information. Doesn't that make sense? Now, one of the things that I like to do, and I see a little bit of time before you guys, some of you are impatient already. What I like to do is for a graphic, I just thought maybe this isn't useful to you guys to see the process I go through, but I'm going to do it anyhow. I'm going to type in Market Update because that's really the title. And I'm going to click on Images and look at all these. Right? Does that look like that one there? I don't know. Market Update, Market Update. Here's a one with the house. And because I'm going to put this at the top, I either want something that's vertical that says Market Update, or something that I can sort of put next to something. And so how about, and by the way, you're welcome to just do whatever you want. I think I kind of like that one, and I like this one too. All right.
Okay.
Right. So what I'm going to do is click on this, and that shows this graphic, which we're going to borrow. And so I'm going to save the image as, and I'm going to make a new folder for you guys. So I'm going through how to do this, but you're going to end up with a template. But some people I find actually like to learn how to do these things. And so I'm going to call this Market, M-A-R-K-E-T, Update. And I'm going to open that file, and I'm going to save it. And by the way, this PowerPoint, I'm going to take this, I'm going to save it as again, which I know is ridiculous, but I'm going to stay awake. I'm going to go to Market Update. Right, so I'm just creating a folder with all my goodies in it. So this would be, I like the see what your NEIGHBOR's neighbors have been up to. I don't know why, I like that. And I'm going to get rid of that picture, and I'm going to make this, scooch it over like that so it fits. And then I'm going to go to Insert Picture, and I'm going to go to Market Update, which is someplace, Market Update, and I'm going to pick that up and maybe make it like that. All right?
Ta-da.
All right. So is everybody? Now I'm going to, some of this I like the part, this is what's called the CTA. Does everybody know what it is? It's a call to action. So I'm going to leave that there. Now you understand, if you just save these templates, all you have to do is pop something in the middle. What are we going to pop in the middle? Now the thing that I like is, let's go back to, I'm logged in now as Rachna for her MLS. And what we did earlier today is we saved a search. And the way you would find your saved searches, does everybody know how to find your saved searches? You click on the new matrix is live. It's been going on for a long time. I don't know how live it is anymore. And it's still not popping up. Come on. Oh, there we go. It's up here. And you go to My Matrix and you go to Saved Searches. And so Rachna Home Farm is, so we click on it, and if we click on criteria, I happen to know that I didn't fill it all in. All I did with Rachna is I saved the area, and I'm gonna highlight those, single family, and then I'm looking at the number here. So if I go 0 minus 30, 6, 0 minus 60, 360, how about 60, all right? And we get 9, which is a good number, right? One of the things that I was talking about earlier, Richard, is that if we make it a bigger area, we'll get more, and even, you don't have to farm the whole area, but anyhow. Now, everybody with me so far? The other thing that makes this easy, and you only have to do this once, is you go to, if you right click on My Matrix and open in a new tab, you can be doing all this together, and we go to Settings. And what I like about this is that you can decide what you want to put in it, and we go to Custom Exports. And I see that there is one that's called Who is Selling What, which is an export that I often make. But I'm going to click on Add Export, and now what we want to do is just pick the criteria that you would like to use. So, for example, I would pick the starting one, and you can change the order, but I'm kind of lazy. The starting one is generally the status. So we pick on status and we add it. And then I like the street name. I don't usually give people the actual address, but I tell them that it's Crow or Calero or whatever. I like to keep beds, A, B, 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 A, B. How about this? It's someplace, beds, total, baths, total. And it's good not to tell them everything, but we might throw in square foot or feet.
Mike, you clicked on bond assessments.
Boy, people just complain. They complain about everything. I did, huh? Bath, total,
You wanted beds.
beds, total. What's wrong with bond assessments? And I like beds before baths. I don't know why. It should be bath before bed, but I don't know.
Really?
So, and then square feet total. And you could put in age. Now notice it's above the bath, so if you click on down, square feet, right?
Yeah.
So you can put in age and stories, but we don't want to overdo this, right? We don't want to overanalyze it. You're welcome to go through and change it if you want to, but the other two we want definitely is list price and sale price. So here's list price, we're going to add that, and then sale price. And I wouldn't put in, we used to put in close of escrow, but that's because we had a lot more escrows closing. And it should be under SA, RSA price. All right. And Rachna gave me $15, which is why she's getting hers. The other thing I would recommend is clicking on the button that says label.
Okay.
Yeah. And then click on save. We have to give the export a name, and we're going to call the export market update. And we're going to click on save. And we're going to say we're done. So what we're doing now is we've created this export, which you could have done this first. Notice we now have our 9, see our 9 matches?
Nice.
I jump back to that. So if we scroll down, you're going to see, it wants me to save this, which is fine. So I'm going to save it as that Rachna Home Farm, and basically it's updating it because I put in some more criteria. If I now click on results, because it's a saved search, it shows me the results. All right, that last part, do you want me to, I'll go through that one more time. If we click on that box, it highlights them all. We click on export, we pick market update, we click export. If you have Firefox, it'll just open it. If you have Chrome, it'll download it and then you have to open it. I'm lazy, so I like it to just open it. Downloading and opening it is one extra step. And so here is our little group. Now, for those of you that were wondering what did he do back then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one more time. Save, update to Rachna Home Farm, sure, whatever. So if I were starting from scratch, let's say Rachna was going to do this next month, and we would go to Matrix Saved Searches, her home farm, we click on it, and then we click on Results. And because the criteria, let's see, click on Results, here they are, click on that, export. Did that make sense? One more, yeah?
Mike, I got lost, further back. I put in label, like you suggested. Hit save, it wanted a name, I gave it a name, and it keeps telling me it wants an export name.
You have to, because you didn't put an export name in. What you
Yes,
put in your name or somebody.
Put in an export description, that's not the same thing?
No, it's not the same thing.
Oh, then
So,
I'm missing something.
custom exports, if we click on add export, see the yellow one that says export name?
Oh,
Not the description down
yeah.
here, but the yellow thing up there.
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
No problem. So this takes a little bit of practice, but let's say after you've done this a few thousand times, it becomes a lot easier. And if you're going to be serious about farming, being able to make one of these, and once we go through, every week I'll make a new template. And I like my PowerPoint templates. What I'm planning to do, by the way, with some of the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite is I'm going to borrow their graphics, but change, I think this will be a lot easier. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to slow down on this part, but what we have is if you highlight the top row and bold it, not only does it look nice, it basically is telling Excel that that's a field heading. I like to click because I have ADDD, and I click that box up here and I go to Format, Auto Fit, the column width, just because I think it looks nicer. If we highlight the first row, which is status, and go to Data, Sort, it will put actives first, pendings, and solds. I happen to notice something that jumps out at me is that there are no active listings. In Rachna's farm, there's all pendings and sold. Had there been, because this sorts alphabetically, had there been actives, A's come before P's, and P's come before S's. So it would be active, pending, and sold, which is good. Now, if you are like me, these numbers bother you. If you click on Home and you click on the little comma, and then it puts in decimals. If you click this, it makes them bigger. If you click that, it gets rid of the decimals. If you highlight these two rows and click on the dollar sign, it makes them dollars. And if you click on that, it gets rid of the decimals. Doesn't that look nice? Is everybody with me so far? So now that we've done this, highlight, copy, we go back, remember this? Paste, and what it does is it pastes in our little chart, all right? Just like this. And I can move it around to make it bigger, but it's got, and if now, let me just, another way of doing this is if we go to Insert, we're not here, don't, no one's here. And we go to Insert Table, we can pick Excel spreadsheet. And if we, that may not work as well as I wanted it to, but
Can you then still edit it like you
sure
did?
you can. Anyhow, it's not perfect. I don't like that. So what I'm just going to do is, there's a lot of different charts you can format. Let me just, yeah, I know, go away. So we're just gonna do this easy, which is copy it, go back here, and paste it. And I don't know, it didn't copy. I should have just stopped with this part. I should have just, I was there, I had it. People, I will never learn. And so, I don't know why it's not being fun anymore.
Did you lose your text box or something? Did you need it?
No, you don't need a text box. It'll just pop it in. And so, anyhow, and if we, so that looks, I know we could do more by putting stuff around it. It's a nice, tight little box for our thing. We could make this bigger, we could make that bigger, right, if we wanted to. What I want to do, how do I view this is a better, we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to make it 200%. And what you can see is, see how that arrow goes like that? If I do Control A, it's highlighted all of this. And if I go to Home, I could make the font bigger. I could make things centered. And although it's maybe hard to see because I've zoomed in by view, if I go to zoom and make it 100%, it's showing you the text box. And we have to move it up, move it up, move it up. All right. And some things you see, there's a little wonkiness here, but
Oh, can I just say?
yeah.
You're kind of right. You usually do a little more editing in Excel before you pass the piece. I think it's easier to do. I do these kind of things a lot for different things. I think it's easier to edit primarily in Excel.
Right. One of the things that I would have done is taken off total, like for example, the word that says total and Bass that say total and square foot that says total, and you know, and street name, we don't really need just street would be good enough. And you'll notice that now that we're in our little text box, this has popped up, which shows us a whole bunch of nice looking little formats. Right. The Microsoft Word has more of them, but if we were to just pick one, and you know, and you could, if you like it to be nice and boxy, you could do that.
And what is this green? Where is that?
This is in PowerPoint. I'm showing people how
No,
to
but
make flyers in PowerPoint.
The different colors that you just had on screen. Where do you find that one?
Well, what you have to do to see that dialog box is you have to select the chart. And then if you double click, it knows that it's a table, and then table styles comes up. And there's a lot that you could do. You could fill things in, you could see, you could make borders and things like that. I usually don't want to spend a lot of time doing this, but if you notice this little drop down arrow, what I sort of like to do is to make that group, you know, justified in the centered. Anyhow, I don't know if this may not have seemed like this was any easier than Michael Lewis marketing. And notice how there's this issue here with that. If we double click, it makes it a nice little box. But it is, Jennifer's right, it's easier to do this in Excel, get it right, copy and paste it in, and you've got a box. It doesn't look as nice as I wanted it to.
Would it
No,
be easier if you used Microsoft Publishing?
Oh, yeah.
You pretty much go through the same steps.
It's the same steps, it's just that Publisher has more table outline things. So as I make this bigger, the box bigger, notice it's making the font bigger. So you see it's sort of laying it out a little bit more. And then I would make this bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Our call to action, we would like it to be big, big. And how about that?
Nice. Cool.
Uh-huh. I don't know. Did that? So, you just have to change the bottom of it. I'm gonna move this, scooch it around, maybe a little bit like that. I don't know if that was helpful or not.
Helpful, yep.
So what I'm going to do, does everybody remember where I put these things? Intranet. Now this is Rachna's, and I feel bad that I didn't do more with the formatting of it, but if
As
you
long
go,
as you feel bad.
as long as I feel bad, guilt is good. And so, if you want to, by the way, like, see how the arrows change? So I could make that bold and I could italicize it to make it look more like a top. So anyhow, I'm done. What I'm going to do is save this and I'm going to upload it into the intranet as a market update. I'll replace the one I did before. And Rachna, you just need to download it and change the bottom part so it has your picture, your name, and your phone number. All right. Does everybody remember where it's kept?
You can remind us. Go ahead.
kw.com,
It's where?
kw.com, or mykw.kw.com.
Okay.
And when you're there, it's taking a long time for it to get there. Boy, it's taking a long time to get there. Let me see if Chrome is faster. So once you go to kw.com, you go to intranet, Market Center intranet, click on Market Center, click on Documents, click on Momentum Coaching.
Oh, wonderful.
And it will be there as soon as the internet works. All right?
Thank you.